Today in this Golu, we have people from outside of Chennai, outside of India also joining in. So thank you all so much for coming to my house virtually, first of all. And this Golu is themed on 4 words from the Ramayana, from the Sundara Kandam of the Ramayana. Okay, and it is Drithi, Drishti, Mathi, Dakshyam. Drithi means fortitude and mentally being firm. Suppose we take a goal, firmly focused action towards the goal without being distracted. That is Drithi. Okay, that fortitude to go ahead despite any obstacle. The next is Drishti. Drishti means vision. The vision or having a higher purpose, having a meaningful, purposeful goal, knowing the bigger picture. That is Drishti. And next is Mathi. Mathi means the knowledge, having a sharp intellect, that knowledge, that is Mathi. And finally, it is Dakshyam. Dakshyam means having all of this, but putting it into action. In execution, we have to be sharp. So how are we sharp in execution? Today, we are going to go through a lot of stories from the Itihasas, Puranas, history, where people have followed these 4 and they exemplify these 4 values. Okay, if there is a place where you are not able to hear me, or if you are not able to understand something, you can stop me somewhere and I will answer. Otherwise, we can keep the doubts for towards the end. Okay. And I am telling you in the beginning itself, towards the end, please send me, if you don't have my phone number, I will send it on the chat box. Send me a message because I have a gift connected to this Golu to virtually reach you. Okay. So please send me a message on my number as on WhatsApp and you will get your Golu gift. Okay, now we are going to start the Golu. Okay. Can you hear me well? Yeah, thank you. Right. So we are going to start from the Sundarakanda. This is the shloka that we are going to actually take up. The whole Guru is based on this shloka where it is said that the person with these 4 qualities, Drithi, Drishti, Mathi, and Dakshyam, can win over anything and have success in life. Okay, so that is the shloka which talks about Hanumanji in the Sundarakanda. So first, let us go into Hanumanji's stories in the Sundarakandam. Do you know why Sundarakandam is called Sundarakandam? It's because Hanumanji's name is Sundara. The first name given to him when he was born, Anjana Devi gave him the name Sundara. Sundara means beautiful. The one who is beautiful inside out is Hanumanji. So the whole of Sundarakandam is a turning point in the Ramayana. Till then, you will see there are different challenges and difficult situations in the Vanaparva. And once it comes into the Sundara, that is Sundarakanda, that is when things turn around because Hanumanji makes sure everything turns around. It becomes positive. That is why everybody reads the Sundarakandam, whether they learn the Ramayana or not, Sundarakandam chanting is encouraged. Hope all of you are able to hear me well, right? Yes? Arunaji, give me a thumbs up. You can hear me well? Yeah, thank you. Okay, now let's go into the story of the Sundarakandam. So Hanumanji sets forth to search for Sita. When he is crossing over the ocean, there are lots of difficulties he has to face. First difficulty that comes his way is the Mainaka Parvat. Yeah. So the Mainaka Parvat, what does it do? It is coming from the sea and it is tempting him to take rest. Suppose you are doing something for a long time and it's a tiring day and somebody is bringing you into an AC room, giving you a soft bed, giving you nice juice to drink and saying, please take rest. Will you not take rest? Won't you say, yes, of course, let me take this opportunity. But that is where Hanuman was different. He said, I can't even take one eye off the goal because Sita's life is dependent on me. And I am the ray of hope for everybody, right from Rama to Sugriva to everybody. I am the ray of hope, so I cannot waste time. So he shunned the Mainaka Parvat and moved on.
So that shows his Drithi, his fortitude. And when he went on, the next obstacle that came his way was Shurasa. Shurasa was a demoness who was adamant on eating up Hanuman. She said, and Hanuman tried all types of logic on her, saying, oh, now if I am not going, then what will happen to Sita? Then what will happen to Rama? Nothing she was ready to listen to. She just wanted to eat up Hanuman. Okay. So what he did, he decided to use his wit, his Mathi. So he grew so large in size that she was also opening her mouth appropriately, bigger and bigger and bigger. And suddenly he becomes such a small size, the size of a mosquito. He goes into her mouth and comes out, even before she can shut her mouth. So now he says, I went into your mouth and came out, but you were the one who was not able to eat me. So what can I do? So that is when she respects his wit and lets him go by. And as he goes, the next obstacle that he had to face was Simhika. That is an obstacle which was like, she's a demoness who attracts the shadow. So can you fight the shadow? It is something that you cannot physically fight, correct? So literally his shadow was being pulled. So what does he do? He becomes very small. First of all, he accepts, okay, my shadow is being pulled. That means I cannot do anything about it. And then he goes inside the ocean, finds where Simha is, and then kills her by physical might. Okay, so every obstacle has a different solution, but he was striving to through each and every obstacle. And that is when he gets this shloka saying, I mean, the Devatas were singing the shloka saying Hanuman was able to go through everything because of the four qualities that he had. And moving on to the next scene, Hanuman goes to Lanka, but he went there for a mission. What is the mission? Finding Sita. But he was not able to find Sita anywhere. In fact, he goes to Ravana's palace first and searches for Sita everywhere. He in fact thinks Mandodari is Sita. He decides, oh, probably that lady, because she has the tejas around her. He thinks that Mandodari is Sita. But then he realizes, how can Mandodari be Sita? Because she is nicely sleeping on a bed right next to Ravana. And Rama is right there worrying about Sita. Will Sita be sleeping like this in a very relaxed way? Not at all possible. So this cannot be Sita. Then he searched from palace to palace, garden to garden, street to street, tree to tree, but he couldn't find Sita. Finally, it came to a point where Hanuman was thinking, instead of taking the bad news to Rama that Sita is no more, or Ravana ate up Sita, or something happened to her, I would rather die. I don't want to take bad news to him. And then what will happen if I die? Sugriva, who is waiting for the message, he will feel betrayed, he will die. All the Vanaras who are waiting on the other side of Lanka, they are going to die. So all their lives are dependent on my word and my action. So this mission is super important and I cannot drop it halfway, he thinks. And then he again searches, and that is when Ashoka Vana reveals itself to Hanuman. And that is when he can go inside and find Sita and all of that. So if not for that Drithi, if not for that fortitude, do you think Hanuman would have found Sita? Not possible. And we should not think all these depressing times, the all-time lows come only for us. Even for Rama it came, even for Hanuman it came. So even for them it comes. But they were able to bounce back because they had the Drishti. That is the vision, the higher purpose. They didn't forget the higher purpose. And now this is interesting. Hanuman actually goes to Lanka for what? For bringing back Sita, for locating Sita, to see whether Sita is there or not. But here, Hanuman goes into Ravana's fort. He wants to go and see who is this Ravana. I want to see who the enemy is, because the war is inevitable. War is going to happen. I might as well see who the enemy is and go back. So he goes, he himself gets arrested. It's not like Hanuman was easy to arrest, right? But he himself makes himself available for the arrest, goes into the court, and then he sees Ravana sitting on a high platform, and then he rolls his sleeve, rolls his tail and sits up on a high platform because he is Rama Duta here. That is, he's a messenger of Rama. He needs that respect because that is the respect given to Rama. And then he delivers the message of Rama saying, Ravana, if you don't give back Sita, war has to happen. and none of you, this Lanka will not survive this war. So such was Hanuman. That was not a task given to him, but yet he did it. That is Dakshyam. That is, he was so skillful in delivering every message that was given to him. So moving on to real life examples from history, from Puranas, from different lives. Okay, we are going to start from here. No, we'll start from there. Okay, this is for Drithi. This is the story of Ahilya Bai Holkar. Hope you are able to hear me still. Yes? Okay. Yes. So this is the story of Ahilya Bai Holkar. Ahilya Bai Holkar belonged to the Holkar dynasty, but she was not born a queen. She was born in a shepherd's family. She was a So she was a young girl. When she was a young girl itself, Malhara Holkar was the king of that region. He chanced upon her in a temple and saw her body language and the way she treated others. And he thought this young girl will make a great queen one day. And he married that little girl to his son, and he became the father-in-law of that little girl. And he taught her everything, right from politics to statecraft to horse riding, war strategy, everything. He trained her, and she became the queen. And her husband actually lost his way, and he went into different things, but she inspired her husband to come back to the right way of life. And unfortunately, her husband passed away very early. And after that loss, she wanted to actually give up her life. But Malhara Holkar, who is her father-in-law, said, you have to dedicate yourself to this desam, that is this desh, that the kingdom is more important than your personal gains or losses. And that brought the fortitude in her, that big vision that the kingdom is more important, brought the fortitude in her to take any loss. And then more losses happened just in the next 2 years. Her father-in-law passed away in a war. Just after a year, she lost her son to a disease. So literally 3 deaths in the family. That too, the closest family members. 3 deaths in the family, back to back to back. Imagine her state of mind. And this Holkar dynasty was actually a very well-to-do, prosperous kingdom. So everybody's eyes were on it. Everybody was waiting to take over. And that too, thinking she's just a lady, why can't I come and take over? And she stood like an iron lady. She made sure through diplomatic missions itself, she could win over every war, not even using her army. That is who Ahilya Bai Holkar was. She had the Drithi, the fortitude to bear the losses and move on. And number 2, she had the vision, the Drishti. Because look at this map. Ahilya Bai Holkar's kingdom is around the Indore region, very small around the Madhya Pradesh region. Okay, but look at the blue marks throughout the map. These were the temples she rebuilt. All these temples were desecrated, broken, looted by the Mughals, and she built them all up. So, how many of you have been to Kashi Vishwanatha temple, Pandharpur Vithala temple? All that brought back by her. All major temples. So she could have built a temple just in her area, right? She didn't do that. She had the vision to build it all over India. She used her prosperity, kingdom's prosperity so well. Okay, moving on. This is Andal. Andal is a bhakta, a devotee of Lord Vishnu from the south. She is actually counted as one of the Alvas, the bhaktas of Lord Vishnu. And right from when she was a little girl, her aspiration was only one thing. I have to become one with Ranganatha. Ranganatha, the Lord of Sri Rangam. Okay, that is Lord Vishnu who is in Sri Rangam. It's called Ranganatha. So I have to become one with Ranganatha. But she's after a girl and that is God, and there were so many skeptic thoughts around it. But she's persevered. She stood very firm in her faith, in her bhakti of Lord Ranganatha. And not only in her faith, but she brought the Drithi in everybody around her. So her Andal's Pasurams or Andal's poetries, there are 30 poetries that she wrote. Each day of the Margari season, one poetry is read out, especially in the Tamil Nadu region. Okay. So each one talks about waking up others. It's not only her who is awakened, she is waking up everybody else. That means it's only not only her fortitude that is important, she's making everybody have that fortitude. So that is Drithi plus Drishti. Not just having the fortitude, but creating that in everybody else. So that is Andal. And then moving on, this is a contemporary story from the life of Rahul Dravid. Okay, Rahul Dravid entered the field of cricket very early in life. So when he was a school kid itself, he was playing league level matches. So once what happened, he was getting out consecutively. 3 matches he got out in single digit scores. And it was all because of his gloves. It was loose and he couldn't handle it and all of that. So he decided he has to do something about it and he bought a new pair of gloves. And throughout the week, he wore the gloves through the day. That is while sleeping, while eating, while writing, while having a bath, he will have the gloves on. How difficult is it to wear gloves and do everything in your daily life? Very difficult, right? It becomes sweaty and it is discomfort. But because of his passion, he bore with that discomfort. He didn't really cringe because of that discomfort. And because of that, because of his passion, he got that Drithi. And because of that, he next match he scored a half century. So that was the Dravid for you. So when we have a higher goal, when we have a passionate goal, all these discomforts and everything else which is a obstacle for us will follow. And let's go to the next story. Next story is about Bhakta Ramdas. He is actually in his early life, he's called Gopanna. Gopanna was a Tahsildar and the Tahsildar to a Nawab kingdom. Okay, to a Nawab king. So what happened? He goes and collects taxes. He went to one of the villages to collect taxes, and that is when he came about. He saw a murti of Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita, and he was a great Rama Bhakta from before. He went into trance seeing that murti, and he felt there was supposed to be a temple there, but this particular these murtis were recovered from Pambu, a snake's hill, and hill like that. So it came out of that, and these are natural murtis, and he thought it was very powerful, and a temple is to be built for him. Okay, it was under a tin sheet. That's what it was under. So all the public also requested him that only you can do it. You are a Tahsildar. So he had some 6 lakh gold coins with him, and he had used it all for the temple construction. So once the temple reconstruction started, he did not go back to his job, nothing doing. Everything, all this time went into this, but there were lots of obstacles that came his way. And one such obstacle was that the temple, the Stapati of the temple came and said that the temple should have a Sudarshan Chakra on the top, just like the Jagannath Puri temple, right? So it has Sudarshan Chakra on top. Just like that, there should be a Sudarshan Chakra. But they didn't find the Sudarshan Chakra anywhere. Where do they find it? And finally, there was a vision, that is, in his dream, he got a vision that it is at the bed of the Godavari River. Godavari River is like gushing. He goes, jumps into the Godavari River, and everybody thinks, oh, this guy is gone mad. So he goes to the bottom, he brings out that chakra and then puts it on the top of the temple. So temple construction over, everything done. It is going to open, and then one more obstacle happens, which is the Nawab gets to know all this is happening with his tax money. And then he arrests Gopanna, and a lot of torture happens because saying, only if you give me back the tax money, you are allowed to leave. And Bhakta Ramdas totally surrendered to Lord Rama and said, Rama, you have to take care of this. And a miracle happened actually. The Nawab was sleeping, and in his dream, he saw 2 soldiers come and give back the 6 lakh gold coins. And they asked for proof that this guy is received. And the stamp of the kingdom went on top of a plain cloth, and they took it away. And all this happened in a flash. He woke up, and the Nawab felt it was so real. And near him on his bed, the 6 lakh gold coins were found. So he thought this is a miracle. He's never ever, he didn't even think such a miracle could happen to him. So he immediately released Bhakta Ramdas and went to the temple consecration ceremony also. And when they were opening the Sannadhi for the first time, inside was Rama and Lakshmana in soldier costume, the way that he saw them in the dream. And they also had the cloths with them with the royal seal of the Nawab. So the story proves that basically when you have that Drithi, when you have that fortitude, everything, the universe plays around such that everything will happen in your favor. Even God makes things happen in your favor. So that is Drithi then. Moving on, we will go to Mathi. Okay. So here, how is knowledge to be attained? First of all, for being a student, there is a Dakshana. Dakshana means qualification. That first qualification is humility. You must be knowing the story where little Muruga happened between little Muruga and Lord Shiva. So Muruga, right from when in his childhood, he was a young, right? So once Brahmaji comes to Kailasa, Muruga asks him a lot of questions. And Brahmaji says this and that. And, childlike solution he's saying. He's not saying, like, what is atomic theory? He won't give the entire physics of atomic theory, but childlike answer. But Muruga was not satisfied with the answer. And he said, you are the creative head of the world. And you don't know the meaning of home. Then you are to be jailed. And he jailed Brahmaji. Shiva comes and sees this, and Lord Shiva is like, the guest is being jailed by his own son. And he goes and asks, what is this, Muruga? What is happening? And Muruga says, I asked him about home and he didn't know, so he's meant to be jailed. And now Shiva is angry and he's saying, so do you know the meaning of home? And Muruga says, yes, I know. And Shiva says, then tell me what it is. And Muruga says, that is superior knowledge. To know that superior knowledge, one has to become a student. One cannot be just a father, just something in us. So Shiva became Lord Muruga's student, sat down in humility. A student is supposed to sit below the Guru and learn. So he sat down in humility, and Muruga became the Guru, and that is the son becomes the teacher and father becomes the student. And Omkara Mantra, the significance of it was revealed in his year. So this is also the story behind Swami Malai, one of the temples, great temples of South India. So here what we learn is, you can be an expert in something, but when you have to learn something else in which you don't know, humility is important. Correct? If you are not having that humility, you always think, oh, I know everything. I know this, I know that. Oh, this teacher is saying this way, this teacher is better than that teacher. We judge teachers. And we are not ready to actually take in that knowledge. Right? So humility is super important when it comes to Mathi. And this is the incident of Nachiketa. That is from Kathopanishad. So Nachiketa is this little boy. He is some 5-6 years of age. And he's seeing his father, Vajasravas, do an expansive yajna for getting higher powers. So in a yajna, danam is compulsory. So he is giving away in dan. What is he giving away in dan? All useless things. All things that are torn, that cannot be used, cows that cannot be milked, those kind of things he's giving away. So Nachiketa is seeing all of this, and he goes and asks his father, who are you going to give me to? And in anger, his father says, I'm going to give you to Yama. And Nachiketa says, okay, thank you, I'm going to Yamaloka. He walks away to Yamaloka, he goes there, Yama says, hey, you cannot come in unless your time is right, and I bring you cannot walk in like this. And Nachiketa says, no way, my father has given me to you. So now I am your property and I can ask you only questions. I cannot ask my father. He's given me away. And he asks numerous questions. What happens after death? What is the principle of this, that, lots of things, which for a child is difficult to ask and understand. But Yama tries to distract him. Because what do we do to children when they have a tantrum and they have a wish? We actually give them some distraction like a gift, and they get distracted. So Yama tries giving him gifts after gifts. I'll give you cows, I'll give you gold, I'll give you silver, I'll give you lands, I'll give you dancing girls, everything I'll give you. And Nachiketa says, no, 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 no for everything. Because whatever you're giving me, it is yours and you're going to take it away at some point in time. There is an expiry limit, expiry time to all the gifts that you're going to give. What I want is something that's permanent. Something that cannot be taken away from me later. Something that is always going to be mine. Something getting which I need nothing else after that. I am complete by myself. So that is the self-knowledge that he searched for. And this is in Kathopanishad. This is the crux of the Kathopanishad. So when we have to ask for something, pray for something, what do we ask for? Are we asking for limited things, minute things, or are we asking for something more permanent, much deeper, much more purposeful, much more, meaningful? So that is a choice. And are we exercising that choice for knowledge well enough? That is the story here. 1 second. I'm going to bring this here. Just a second. Oh, sorry. Moving on to the next story. This is again in Mathi, but we are coming into worldly knowledge now. So back then, all the kings, used to have a lot of mantris, and these mantris were chosen such that they were from different fields, experts in different fields. So this is the court of Chandragupta Vikramaditya from the Gupta dynasty, and he had Navaratna in his court. Each one is a Ratna, that is a gem by themselves, because one was a lexicographer and vocabulary analyst. He was a Medavi of words. Okay, one was an astronomer and an astrologer, Varahan Hira, and one was Amara Ghosha, a poet. Another was a court jester, creating humor in the court. So each one was a Stapati, one was like an architect of building dams and temples and all of that. So why have so many different people in your court? Number one, different perspectives are available for each issue. Number two, if the king thinks I know everything, then all that he can do is with his limited understanding. But overall, the knowledge database available in this king, in his court, is much more massive than just him, right? Only his knowledge is much lesser compared to the combined, collated knowledge of all these people, correct? So, two things we have to remember. When we have to take a decision, first have counsel with the wise. It's super important to ask somebody else, because sometimes our vision is very narrow, and because of that, we are taking bad decisions. Number two, go to an expert. I know everything. If that is the attitude, then our decisions will have to be a trial and error method. Yeah. I will go wrong, I will learn. I will go wrong, I will learn. How many times do you want to go wrong? There are people who have had the experience. Rather, so what do we need there? An open mind. So for that Mathi to be there, an open mind is super important. And then we go to the next one. This is again Mathi. This is about Tapoji Maharaj and Swami Chinmayananda. So Swami Chinmayananda in his early life was a journalist, an A-grade journalist working in Delhi. You can imagine the salary he was getting, double MA, and high-flying society person. And he decides to go to the Himalayas to learn about the sadhus. What are they up to and all of it, to export the sadhus rather. Then when he goes to Rishikesh, spends time there, he understands that there is something more to this, to his questions, He was getting answers to his question, and that is because he had an open mind. He didn't just judge people, he asked questions and he was ready for answers. The next 3 years, he became so curious to learn more and more that his curiosity took him to the next level, to Tapolji Maharaj, who lives on top of Uttarakanshi. So Rishikesh to Uttarakanshi is a very difficult trek. And this man, who belonged to a high-fly society in Delhi, and he is a Keralite who has not seen rough, tough Pahadi life, he goes climbing this all the way and reaches Taponji. So what should you be expecting? All of us will expect, wow, what a man you have done. You have taken such a long journey to reach me. I'm so proud of you, but nothing came out of the Guru. The Guru said, oh, you've come this far, but where is your letter of recommendation? Usually, if it is Shivananji, he should be sending a letter of recommendation. How do I know that this is you? And then Swami Chinmayananda had to go down all the way to Rishikesh and again get the letter of recommendation and come back. So if we were in his position, there were so many thoughts that could have come about, right? One is, oh, I have tried enough. I have done my part. After this, it's not luck. I don't have the luck to learn this. So probably I should give up. Or it could be that, hey, he's believing one letter, he is not believing the person in me. This is not the person I want to learn under. So many ways ego can act up. But here, the knowledge was so precious and the guru was so precious, he thought this journey again is worthwhile. It's worth the journey. And that kind of a striving mind it takes to become a great student. Yeah. So that is what is the story here. Do we have that striving mind to become a great student? Is what we have to ask ourselves. The next is again in the context of Mathi. There was a ruler called Amara Shakti, and he had two sons. They were the princess. They were going to become the kings, but they were not sharp enough. They were not sharp students. They were a little dumb-witted, and all the teachers rejected. They said they could not teach these two people. But then there came a person called Vishnu Sharma, a great Rishi, a great Acharya. He comes and says, I will teach them in 6 months what nobody could do. Everything that they need to know to become kings, I will teach them in a matter of 6 months. And what did he do? What was the miracle he did? He converted everything into simple stories, every thought process. And these are like stories between a mongoose and a person, and something like a lion and a rabbit. He made stories in them, and that became Panchatantra. Panchatantra talks about what are the kind of friends you have to gain. What are the kind of people you should avoid being the king? How should your behavior be during wars and during peacetime? There is a section called Kako Laukya. Ulluka is owl and Kaka is crow. So between crows and owls, they are always enemies. This one will go and knock off their nests in the night, and that one will come and knock off the nest in the morning. So how do you live with such company? Because there are bound to be enemies at all times while you are running a kingdom. And what should a king never do? So such things were brought into simple stories. And what is this all about? So there was a Persian king who was in a deathbed, and the Persian physician, he heard that there is something called Vitha Sanjeevani, a herb which can bring back the dead. So he went to India searching for it. All over he searched in Bharat, but then he didn't get it. He chanced upon this book called Panchatantra. And then he understood Vitha Sanjeevani was a herb. It was actually knowledge that goes in and transforms you from inside. So that death no longer can touch you. Knowledge alone can do that. So he was the first to translate Panchatantra into Persian. After that, it got translated to at least 40 to 50 languages. And it is the widest translated Indian literature, Panchatantra. Okay, moving on. From there, so here what are we trying to say? So it's not like everybody can learn the same style. Okay. Discover your style and make learning fun. Understanding in a simplistic way. So this is especially for the teachers out here. How are we going to make learning fun for children? Okay? And also the parents. Next, we go to the story of Jatayu. All of us must be knowing about Jatayu. Jatayu is one of the key characters in the Ramayana. But if you see Jatayu's episode, even Jatayu knew very well that he cannot win over Ravana. Then what was he doing fighting Ravana? What was he trying to prove? He was not trying to prove anything. All that he wanted to do is defend Sita as long as possible so that Rama can come and take over something. So even if I lose my life in the process, I'm okay with it. So the vision was that I have to contribute to Rama's vision. For that, if I am a small, like the squirrel did, right? Small piece of work, and it thinks I'm building a bridge for Rama to find Sita. Similarly, Jatayu's sacrifice was such that it gave a great strength to Rama and Lakshmana. Imagine Jatayu actually held back its life till Rama came and told this direction and then done. So if Rama and Lakshmana did not know the direction, they would have taken much longer to find Sita. Okay, just a second before we go on. Okay, right. Next is an interesting story. So here Jatayu, as we spoke about, Jatayu's Drishti was important. Okay, Jatayu's Drishti was important. So you must have heard about NASA, right? In NASA, there was a sweeper. And somebody asked, what do you do? What is your work? And he said, I clean the land for the rockets to take off. What he's doing is only sweeping. But look at the vision. I am also contributing for this rocket to take off is the vision. So such was the Drishti or the vision of Jatayu. Moving on, this is an interesting story from history, of course. So there was this Rani called Hadirani. Okay, she was one of the most beautiful Rajput princesses back then, and everybody wanted to marry her. And she was great with her intelligence as well. So finally, she married this person called Raja Ratan Singh. And she moved to Chittor. That is what was his hometown. So when she came, the day she came to the Chittor palace, that day he gets one letter from the neighboring kingdom saying the Rani of the neighboring kingdom is going to be snatched away by Aurangzeb and his help is required to save the Rani. He conveys this to Hadirani, who is the wife, right? Hadirani says, immediately you go and save that princess. But this Raja is very reluctant and he says, today only you have come home and it's our first day together and you want me to leave immediately. If I go to war, then what can happen to me? I could even die in the war. Why are you sending me away like this? You are very hard-hearted. All the excuses the Raja tried. The Rani was very clear. You need to do your dharma first. So how do wives feel when husbands say, you are the world to me. I don't want to leave you and go. I want to spend time with you. Every wife wants to hear that, correct? But here Hadirani is like, no, dharma is more important. You leave right away. Otherwise, the history will call you a coward. They will remember you by this act. And imagine if you delay and because of that lady's life goes away, then who is to blame? So she is insistent. She goes and brings the sword and gives it to him and says, just keep going, move out. And the Raja goes. He goes till the gate. His army is ready. Till the palace gate, he goes and he stops. So what he does now? What does he do now? He is asking. Okay. So, just a second. So the Raja goes to the gate and he stops. He's calling a messenger. He's asking the messenger to go and tell Rani a message. And the message is, I want a gift from you so that I can remember you throughout the battle. Okay, and the Rani now gets the message and she's troubled. She feels, why is he so obsessed with this form of mine? And am I being a support to him or am I being a distraction? So if I'm being a distraction, what should I do? And you know what she does? She knows what gift to give him. She cuts off her head, gives that as a gift to the Raja. And it goes to the Raja and Raja opens and he's stunned. He now understands his priorities. The very object of his obsession now is no more. So what can he obsess over? Now he understood the vision of Hadirani and he says, okay, I have to fight this war and I have to fight it well for Hadi. And it is said that he fought this war like crazy, like he was possessed by spirits. That is how he fought this war. And finally he won it. So many Mughal soldiers were killed and some of them ran away. They were afraid of this Raja. They never came back to this Chittor region after that. But finally, at the end of the war, Raja also gave up his life because he said, I have finished the mission that Hadi wanted me to finish. After this, I cannot live in this world without her, and he left his life. So what do we learn out of this story? What is important here is her vision of Dharma, and she doesn't stop there. She creates that vision in the person next to her, like in her beloved also. So it's not about just us following dharma, it is about making everybody around us follow dharma. Okay, so that is the Drithi that she had and the Drishti that she had. Okay, so being firm in the dharma, that Drithi, and the Drishti of making others also follow it. Okay. Please come, please come. Please come inside. Come inside, come inside, Aya. Come, come. You can go like this. Go this. Go this way. Okay. We are continuing. Okay. We are going to the next story here. So this is a story from the Mahabharata. So in the Mahabharata, what happens? Draupadi undergoes such a big humiliation, such a big insult. But after that, after Krishna comes into the picture, she, gets dressed. And after that, Dhritarashtra gets a little fidgety. He thinks Krishna has now come to help. That means it's a big case. Something big is going to happen. And Draupadi can also curse his sons. So he comes rushing to Draupadi and says, apologizes to Draupadi and says, I'll give you 3 boons. You can ask anything. You ask for my kingdom. You ask for my kingship. You ask anything. But please don't curse my sons. That's what he says. Now, Draupadi, after all the humiliation and embarrassment she has gone through, Draupadi says, first boon, I want my husbands released. Second boon, I want their kingdom released. Third boon, you can keep for yourself. I don't need anything more than this. We know how to fight back and get back everything else. This was her answer even at the crucial point in her life. Okay, we would have all been shattered at that point in time, but even at that time, this is how she asked. And a lot of logical questions she asked, even while she was being pulled to the dharma. What is the question she asked? She is like asking, did Yudhishthira lose himself first or did he lose me? So if he had already lost himself, then he cannot call me to the court. So this was how logical she was even at that point in time. So one is Dakshyam, how she was able to be that cool and composed and thinking at that point in time. That is something we have to know. And the second is the Drithi, that unshakable faith that she had in her husbands, come what may. So that is her. Moving on. Okay. So the next is Manunidhi Cholan. So Manunidhi Cholan story is such that there is a bell in the kingdom of Manunidhi Cholan. Okay, that is the bell for justice. Anybody can ring that bell and ask for justice. So it happened that his son, the prince, took the chariot and accidentally ran it over a calf, a little calf. And the cow, the mother of the calf, goes and rings the bell. Now the king could have said, hey, you are an animal, we are human beings, the laws are different for both of us. Nothing doing. He said, life is a life. And life for life is only justice. So you are a mother who lost your child. I am a father who is willing to lose my child to make sure we are even. So he ran the chariot over his own son and killed him. So this might seem very rude and harsh in this generation, in this point in time. But those were people who chose their roles well. I am king first. Father, brother, husband, everything next. King first. So that was the dharma level, the vision, the drishti of dharma was so strongly rooted that this is how he behaved. Okay, this came into behavior because of the drishti. Okay, moving on. This is a scene from the Mahabharata. Krishna has played a lot of roles in the Mahabharata and made sure dharma is the end result. So what happened? This is the killing of Dronacharya. During the war, one of the days when Bhishma, after Bhishma was laid down on the bed of arrows, then what happened? Yeah. After Bhishma was laid down on the bed of arrows, Drona became the next commander-in-chief. And that is when Duryodhana comes and instigates Drona saying, your favorite is Arjuna, and because of that, you are so partial and you are not going to be killing the Pandavas. So you are not fit to be the commander-in-chief. All that he's saying. And Drona's ego goes up and he says, today, look at how many people I'm going to kill. and he goes into the war, and it was by then all the rules of war had changed. Day and night people were fighting. There was no rest. And he started using divine weapons, weapons that could be used only by the Devatas. He used it, those are banned and prohibited on earth, but still he used them. People were being killed in bulk, in masses. So if the same thing happened in a few hours, Pandava's army would have been wiped out. So Krishna had to do something. What did he do? He thought of the greatest weakness of Drona. What is the weakness? His son Ashwatthama. So he asked Bhima to kill an elephant. The name of the elephant is Ashwatthama. So Bhima will come and announce, after killing the elephant, Bhima will come and announce, Ashwatthama. That is Ashwatthama, I killed, and that is a elephant. Kunjaraha means elephant. So Ashwatthama, Hataha, and by the time he says elephant, Krishna will blow his conch. And nobody will hear the word elephant. So now Drona is shattered and he thinks, oh, my son is dead. Because his son's name is Ashwatthama. Okay, but he does not believe Krishna, he does not believe Bhima, and then he asks Yudhishthira, Yudhishthira, is it true? Whatever Bhima said, is it true? And Yudhishthira said, yes. That is when Drona lost all purpose, all hope. He broke down, put down his weapons. And that is when Drishtadyumna was waiting there with his sword, and straight Drona was killed. Yeah. So that is what happened in the war. This way, Krishna's actions are justified because the greater dharma he was able to see, the greater picture. Not individually, is this right? Is that right? Is this right? Is that right? But overall, this is the picture. All this has to fall in place. So when he saw the puzzle, if you see each piece of the puzzle, it will be confusing. But if you see the overall puzzle, every piece will fit in. So that is Dakshyam. Here, this is an interesting story from history. So you must have heard about the Somnath Mandir. Yeah. Somnath Mandir was raided, looted so many times by invaders. One such time was when Gori, Muhammad Gori came in. He slaughtered thousands of, like tens of thousands of devotees. And then he came into this place in Somnath and he looted. Literally diamonds, gems, gold, everything he looted, how much ever they could take. They picked it up and they went. But they had to go through a particular route through the mainland to Moolastan and from there to Ghazni. But that way was blocked by Mihira Bhoja and his army. He's already lost to Mihira Bhoja earlier and he knows the risk. So what did he do? He went through the desert route, which is a shortcut. But desert is such that you cannot find routes very easily. So you need a local there. So they hired a local's help. And that local said, yes, yes, I will show you the route. I will show you the route. And he went about in circles. And they went about in circles without food, without water. And they lost all the gold. They went crazy. Some of them died. So the army was completely wiped out before he even went to Ghazni. So hardly any gold that was stolen from Somnath went to Ghazni. And this was all because of this one guide. And he is said to be a devotee of the Somnath temple. Out of the tens of thousands of people who were massacred in Somnath, this was one person who escaped but got sweet revenge. So this is Dakshyam again. This is the last story and this comes from the Mahabharata. So in the Mahabharata, there is a character called Ulupi. Ulupi is the wife of Arjuna and she is a Naga princess. And Arjuna had one more wife called Chitrangada and she is from Manipur region and she has a son called Babruvaman. But because of the laws of the land, Babruvaman could not take part in the Mahabharata war. So what happened when Arjuna shot Bhishma and Bhishma was lying in the bed of arrows, all his brothers, Bhishma had these Vasus, Ashta Vasus are there. One of the Ashta Vasus is Bhishma. 7 other Vasus who became celestial beings, they saw this and they thought this was wrong. Whatever happened to Bhishma was unfair. So Arjuna has to die. So they curse Arjuna that Arjuna will be killed by his own bloodline. And then Ulupi listens to this. Ulupi pleads Ganga for a solution. Ganga Devi says, okay, I will bless one of your rare jewels. You know, all these states will have those jewels, the rare gems. So I will bless one of the ratnas such that that can bring Arjuna back alive. Now, Ulupi has to think of a solution where Arjuna dies right in front of her eyes. Okay? You repeat what? Vasu's cursed Arjuna that he will be killed by one of his own bloodline, that is his own sons. Okay, so now what Ulupi does, she has to create a big plan. So all the Mahabharat war is over and the Pandavas are going all over the mainland of India. They are trying to integrate all the kingdoms and Arjuna comes to the northeast. When he comes to the northeast, again, it's a military mission that he comes on. But he comes for the first time to meet all, Ulupi and Chitrangada and Babruvamana and everybody. Now, Ulupi tells Babruvamana, you have to prove to Arjuna that you are worthy of being his son. So, you have to show him your warrior skills. When Arjuna comes, you should not go hug him, cry and all. You should fight against him. And Babruvamana said, okay, Amma, I will do that. And when Arjuna comes, Babruvamana and Arjuna fierce battle. Even though they are son and father, finally Babruvamana kills Arjuna. And he is shocked. What have I done to my father? He's come here after such a long time. And everybody is shocked. And Ulupi calmed down everybody. She then put the jewel in his mouth and went inside of him, and Arjuna was revived. So to make Arjuna come back alive, what all she had to see, what all she had to bear. Yet the bigger picture was more important, and that is Dakshyam, where she was able to put it into action. So overall, when you see, there are so many things, but this core, that is Drithi, Drishti, Mathi, Dakshyam, if these four are there, any mission can be successful. So that is the overall theme of this Golu. And with that, we end the Golu. And I request, can you hear me? Right. Come, show your face now. Welcome, welcome. I have visitors here also. I request you to tell me, do you, 1 second. Is there something new that you learned today? Some new story, something like that? And I want all of you to send me a message. There is a Golu gift that is coming to you based on this Golu. So that gift will come to you only when you message me. Okay. Hi, Geeta. Hi, Swarna. Lovely to see you. Namaste, Hariom. Is there something new? Hey, I can't hear you. Hey, you have to unmute yourselves. Oh, you're not able to unmute. Sorry. My bad. Now you can.
Of course, yes, so many stories which we have, some we have heard, some is really new about that lady who cut, that Rani who cut her head and all
Hadi
that.
Rani. Yeah, most of them said that Hadi Rani is new.
And then Somnath, we knew it was looted, but not about this great person who saved that lovely temple. Certainly, yes.
Thank you, Subiksha. Thank you, Meena. Thank you so much. Right. So all of you, make sure, please message me. Thank you for coming home for Golu. Though it was virtual, all of you have come from different. I see Swarna from Gurgaon. I see Meena from Calicut and Arunaji from Pune or Mumbai.
I'm from Navi Mumbai. Radha, my friend Geeta is from Pune. And we have Sarita from Navi Mumbai.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful. It's always wonderful to listen
Hello
to
from Toronto. We have Praveen from Toronto. Oh, thank you. Thank you for joining in. Thank you.
Rather, as usual, pleasure listening to your stories.
Thank you, Swarna. I've been missing you.
So curious to know what exactly the words meant, but I couldn't attend the morning session, so I thought I should somehow try to, attend the evening.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
I feel so happy knowing so many different things. As someone already pointed, yes, the Rani story was lovely. Actually.
Thank you, Devi Aunty. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shravan. Subiksha. Priyamani, thank you for coming. Mayuri, thank you for coming. Praveen, thank you for joining all the way from Toronto. Lovely to have you all. Lovely to have you all. Thank you. Thank you. Please text me, okay, for your gift. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Hari Om and bye, Akka.
Hari Om. Bye. Thank you, Janani. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you and all the best for narrating more and more lovely stories.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nivedan. Thank you, everybody.
Hari Om.
Namaste. Hari Om. Namaste.